Life has always found a way, above the land and now beneath the sea. Before we get into that, we must go back to the beginning. Not all giants of the sea were hunters, some were gentle drifters. This is the Archelon, the largest turtle to ever exist. It had huge, powerful front flippers for strong swimming across open seas. Unlike the turtles of today, the Archelon's shell was more like a leather jacket. It wasn't built for heavy defense, but for cruising the open seas. Despite its size, it definitely wasn't built for battle. It was more of a gentle drifter. Even though it was big, its bones were light, helping it float easily near the surface for breathing, but it also made fossils more rare. Unfortunately, delicate bones like this often meant they'd collapse before fossilizing, which is why they're so rare. They also had a large hook beak rather than teeth, meaning it could eat hard or soft prey. The Archelon spent most of its life in water, but could descend onto land, mostly to lay eggs. It was definitely a struggle dragging themselves onto land. These magnificent creatures lived 80 to 70 million years ago in the Cretaceous period. Some creatures of the ancient seas weren't built for brutal strength, but for speed. The Ichthyosaurus. This creature lived in the early Jurassic period, about 200 to 190 million years ago. Its name means fish lizard because it looks like a lot of dolphins. Even though it wasn't related to fish or mammals, it was actually a reptile. The Ichthyosaurus used camouflage where it was lighter on the bottom and darker on the top, just like a lot of penguins and other animals do today. This meant it helped hiding from predators, but also from its prey, so the prey wouldn't know it was coming. They could grow to 6 to 10 feet long. Like most sea creatures of today, they breathed air. They didn't have gills, they had lungs. However, it was suggested that they may have been able to hold their breath for 20 to 30 minutes or longer. Its huge eyes gave an advantage on hunting in deep and dim water. Their eyes had a special bony ring to protect them from the water pressure. Despite their size, they had a brain cavity which was quite large compared to most reptiles. The Ichthyosaurus uses its powerful tail to propel it through the water. Long before the dinosaurs, the sea was ruled with monsters unlike anything we have today. This is a Dunkleosteus. That was an armoured fish living around 358 million years ago, or longer. Instead of growing teeth, it had sharp, bony plates that acted like giant scissors. Like its jaw, its head was also full of armour. This creature wasn't picky about what it ate. It had the strongest bite force of any fish. Its bite force had enough to crush armour and bone. They definitely wasn't picky about what they ate. A lot of fossils that were found actually had healed battle scars from other Dunkleosteus. Because of the plates in its mouth, it definitely could cut through anything it needed to. Its bite strength to body ratio is still one of the highest ever recorded. While there is no proof that they hunted in packs, fossil clusters were often found with a lot of the species together. So it's summarised that they may have came together while eating and obviously breeding. While the head was heavy, the rest of the body was quite light, meaning they could easily keep themselves balanced through the water. Because of its balanced buoyancy, it could also keep itself pretty still, waiting for prey to get too close. This monster was actually sat at the very top of the food chain, a true apex predator of its time. Some fossil evidence suggests that these creatures could have been cannibals eating on smaller versions if food was scarce. Long before the great predators, we had creatures testing the limits between water and land. This is a Nothosaurus, meaning false lizard. It was a semi-aquatic reptile from the Middle Triassic period, about 240 to 210 million years ago. Most species were 3 to 4 meters long. The body of the Nothosaurus was very unique. It had webbed feet allowing it to swim through water, but also allowing it to go on land, most likely to bask in the sun, escape predators, or nest. Its needle-like teeth pointed slightly outward, almost like a fish trap. When it snapped its jaws shut, prey would get stuck, perfect for grabbing slippery fish and squid. Hunting by ambushing their prey. There is no direct fossil evidence that these guys stayed in groups. However, it could likely be that they would join together when basking and for nesting as well. But that didn't mean they always enjoyed each other's company. However, it's likely that they could have fought over territory, nesting spots, and the best basking spots as well. The Nothosaurus wasn't built for long chases. It was a stealth predator. It could give chase in small bits, however it was mostly known for ambushing. These guys also surprisingly had a large brain, and like most sea creatures of today, it was also an air breather, but it could still hold its breath for 15 to 20 minutes or maybe longer. Here we have the Tylosaurus. They could reach up to 46 feet long. Its body long with a powerful tail and powerful fins to propel it through the water. Its eyes faced slightly forwards, meaning it had better judgment of distance and could strike with accuracy. The Tylosaurus had a very blunt snout that may have been used to ram or stun prey. This creature lived in the late Cretaceous period, that is 80 to 85 million years ago. It would eat anything it could find. A lot of the time, Plesiosaurus were on the menu. Its jaws were full of sharp, backward, curving teeth, allowing it great grip on slippery prey. The Tylosaurus was closely related to modern monitor lizards like the Komodo dragon. Its body shape suggests it was capable of burst swimming, maybe reaching 12 to 18 miles per hour. It of course could breathe air, but could also hunt deep. It could hold its breath for 30 minutes and longer underwater. They also had a really well developed inner ear for underwater hearing. Not every creature ruled the sea with teeth and terror. Some survived with size alone. This is the Shonisaurus. Its body built for endurance. Although it was large, it would often eat on small prey like fish. It had a very large snout with relatively small teeth, with powerful flippers and tail to propel it through the open waters. It was in the same group as the Ichthyosaurus. Fossil evidence suggests that they may have stayed in groups, like dolphins do today. Its large size definitely packed a punch. However, they had no real way of defending themselves apart from barging into their enemies. A lot of predators wouldn't even bother to try take it down. Here we show the result of a Tylosaurus trying to take one down. Both got damaged in the process. In the real world, it was more babies that had to be careful because the adults were untouchable. However large you are, there's always something that's going to try take a chance, and unfortunately, this one lost its life. Going for such large prey was also a risk, because any damage could lead to infections and damage that couldn't be repaired. This long-necked creature is the Plesiosaur, 15 feet long and body built for stability. Even though their necks were super long, they actually wasn't that movable. They was pretty stiff. They probably used gentle sweeping motions to grab prey on the ocean floor. These guys would only give birth to one large baby, suggesting that they cared for their young like modern whales or dolphins. The brain of these creatures was pretty small, however, the inner ears were very large, meaning they was well adapted for balancing in water. 4 powerful flippers allowing it to move gracefully through the water. Even though they looked bulky, they was quite fast for their size, although these guys were more of fish eaters than anything else. Their teeth would latch on and keep hold of slippery prey. However, they definitely were at the top of the food chain, falling victim to Liopleurodons and Tylosaurus. Next up is the Liopleurodon, 30 feet long, full of muscle and teeth. Its enormous jaws filled with dagger-like teeth. Its flippers allowing it powerful movement through the water. its body compact, allowing it to speed through the water. It would often eat fish as an easy snack, however it could easily take down other things. It didn't chase its prey, it stalked and ambushed as soon as the time was right. Although there is no fossil evidence of them being in groups, they would have come together for mating seasons and could tolerate each other when feeding frenzies were going on, but we assume they lived a solitary life apart from those occasions. For all the giants of the sea, for all the predators that came before, there was one giant that stuck out the most. This is the Mosasaurus, its jaws packing a powerful punch with all those teeth. Over 50 feet long, its powerful tail allowing it to glide through the water. It was definitely the apex predator of its time. The Mosasaurus wasn't picky about what it ate. It could take down anything it wanted. Of course, not all hunts were successful, same as every animal today. The Mosasaurus had a large jaw, meaning it could swallow prey whole. Once it had its grip, it was not letting go. The Mosa also shared the lot of the Tylosaurus, which meant they would clash often. Mostly ended up with Tylosaurus losing its life. The Mosasaurus was actually an air breather. It had to surface to breathe air. The head of a Mosasaurus was very thick, allowing it to withstand a lot of pressure. They were solitary animals, only coming together when it was time to breed. Although if they met when it wasn't breeding season, a lot of fights would happen, and they would kill each other and eat each other. But often they was happy being alone. Like sharks, they often replaced their teeth continuously throughout their life. This kept its bite razor sharp. Long before the creatures we know today, these ancient rulers called the sea home. Though millions of years have passed, these ancient rulers shaped the ocean we know today. The story of the sea is their story. All of this was created on Jurassic World Evolution 2. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.